Hi, welcome to You, Me and Mediumship. Thought I'd do a little talk tonight just on a few don'ts rather than do's. Things that I guess in the early days, well, mistakes I made in the early days. And I'm hoping that if I talk through those now, it would probably help some of you not to make the same mistakes I did. And I guess the main one really is it's important that as a medium you work comfortably with yourself and not try and shadow other mediums. The reason I say that is because, as I've mentioned before, mediumship is a very personal thing, and that sitting in the power that I harp on about, that sitting in the power is where you form a relationship with spirit, a personal relationship with spirit. They will learn as much about you as you learn about them. And the reason that is done is because clairaudiently, clairvoyantly, whatever you want to talk about, there are elements of self that are brought into that. So there'll be senses that you've sensed over your lifetime that spirit will be aware of. And they will use those senses to give a message. So if you had, say, a certain sense of smell at Granny's house, when you used to walk in there, she'd cook a certain recipe and it always reminded you of Granny's house, then that could be something that spirit would use if you sat doing a reading for somebody and you had a lady who was coming through and you would sense that smell of that cooking, and you would know immediately that spirit are bringing forward a grandmother. So there are different things, different elements of self that spirit learn about. They learn about you and what makes you tick and what made you tick. So there'll be things that they can use. It's like a little list, I guess. As they get to know you personally, they will use those things to get a message across. There might be certain things that upset you in certain ways, and spirit will learn this. And by learning these things, they will make you feel that way. They might make you feel a little upset about something, and straight away that will trigger your memory. It will trigger what it was that upset you, and that could form part of your reading for someone else, because they may well have gone through, the person that you're passing the message from could well have gone through a similar circumstance. So you would be able to give that to the sitter. So I understand they went through this or they went through that, because you have personal experience of it. So it's an easy way for spirit to be able to portray a personality, because if they can work with you and get to know you and what makes you tick, then they will use those elements of yourself to pass messages through you. So yeah, don't think you have to work as a medium in a certain way. I don't like that idea at all. Obviously, there's respect. You have to be respectful and obviously polite, and the logical things you have to be. But don't try and shadow someone else and just give, if you like, do an imitation of another medium, because it won't work for you. You will struggle big time. Don't do that. So important, be yourself, okay? If you're doing public demonstrations, platform work, obviously there are certain rules and regulations within platform work, and the churches do like you to work in a certain way. So you have to respect that, but you still need to be who you are. When you stand on that platform, stage, sat in front of a sitter at home, whatever, then be yourself and be confident with yourself. It is self that is doing the work. It is your true self that is doing that connection. So don't try and be someone else or work in another way, because you will, like I said, it will be very hard work for you. And what else can we say, really? I think, personally, and I've said it before, that the time you spend sat with self, with spirit, then that was going to do you more good than 1,000 courses. It's nice to go on a course now and again. It's nice to mix with similar people and exchange experiences. But at the end of the day, this mediumship, this gift is yours. And you need to learn to work with it. It's very difficult for somebody else to be able to teach that. Or, well, I personally don't believe it can be taught. And I do believe that you can be guided. Like I've said in my previous video, you can be guided to that door, but you are the person who needs to unlock it. You will have to find the key. We can only take you so far. So yeah, don't waste all your hard-earned on too many courses, okay? Some can be very, very expensive, and if you gain nothing from it, then unfortunately, obviously there's no money-back guarantees or anything, so yeah, you're better just spending time, spend that time sitting with spirit in that peace, and then that's your classroom. So yeah, do that. Don't waste too much money on courses. And the problem is as well, if you attend too many courses, then I think you can lose that element of self, and you can lose the way in which you need to work, because you would just be trying to remember everything that you've been taught, that's been put into your head, and you'll be trying to do that, and you'll just lose that self. And you mustn't do that, because that is your tool. Self is the tool you need to use. So what else can we say? Just trying to think of a few early mistakes well, make sure you're happy in your circle. So if you attend a development circle or any circle, make sure you're comfortable. Okay, if it gets to the point where you don't really feel like you want to go, but you've got to go because it'll help your mediumship, and that ain't going to work ever. That will never work for you. That circle, you have to fit in. Okay, you have to feel comfortable with it. So make sure that you don't just go for the sake of going. Make sure that you fit in well with the circle. It only takes one or two bad apples, like in most things, within a circle, within a group, and then it makes it hard for everybody, because the energy in that group needs to be spot on for that circle to work well. So if you're a bit uncomfortable in the circle, you don't quite fit in it, you don't feel it's the right one for you, then not only are you doing harm to yourself, you're also making it difficult for the others. So make sure when you pick a circle, and I know they're not easy to find, so you know, it's very hard to think this isn't working and walk away. But if it isn't working for you, then, you know, in respect for yourself and the other people within that circle, it's important you find another one, and keep looking and finding others until you feel comfortable, because that's when you will be able to learn and work at your best in a circle that suits you. So don't just put up with it, okay? It's not always someone's fault. It just happens that you just don't feel right. The energy doesn't feel right. Then it's best that, you know, you be polite and say, not working for me. Thank you very much for your kindness, but, you know, I'm going to go elsewhere. So yeah, don't just go along and sit there for the sake of sitting there. It's important you don't do that. Another thing, I guess, as well, is it's important that you try and practice your mediumship, but don't overdo it. Okay, once people start picking up better than what they ever have done in the past, and they start getting some good things coming through, and they feel they're getting confident, sometimes you can overwork that. And what I mean by overworking it, and some, you know, you're going to think I'm crazy, but what I mean, and I've seen it, is where messages are given queuing up in the fish and chip shop, you know, all the time. And no, don't do that. You know, don't push your mediumship onto people. Okay, you will know, as you gain experience over the years, you will know when that message needs to be given. You will know immediately when you're stood with somebody if there is a message to give and if it will be accepted, or the person that the message is for will accept it. There are people who, believe me, get very, very upset if you start blurting things out, queued up in the post office, about their great auntie so-and-so. And believe it or not, people do that. And I have seen it. So, yeah, you will know when a message can be given through experience. Now, the energy within you will tell you that, yes, please pass this message on. It will be accepted. You will know that. So, yeah, don't walk around down the high street with a big sign, I'm a medium, I'll give you a message, and you'll find that people will start to walk around you. Oh, it's him again. Yeah, oh, right. We'll go to the post office later when he's gone. So, yes, don't overdo your mediumship, okay? Be patient with it. You will know, like I said, in time when there is a message to be given. You cannot push it onto people. You will know from experience. So give yourself that time, learn, get that experience, and you'll know when the time is right. Let's try and think of something else that I've had in the back of my mind over time that kind of held me back. There's obviously the emotional side of mediumship can be very difficult to deal with at times. Yes, you can be an oversensitive person, that's without any doubt. So that can be quite difficult. And also, obviously, the skeptics, those that will, no matter how good you are, it doesn't matter how accurate your messages are, they will still try to pull you down. They're out there, they do it professionally, and you have to learn to let that, like water off a duck's back, really. So that's something you have to be aware of. That in the early days, you have to be aware that it's not everybody's cup of tea. So as much as we would love it to be everybody's cup of tea, there are people who are just not ready to accept any aspect of what we do. And my belief is it depends upon the point of journey we are on. So I think some of us the older souls obviously will accept it totally. The younger souls, and I'm not talking about necessarily children on this earth, if you like, within this plane. I don't mean that. What I mean is souls that are young in existence through lifetimes, if you like. So they may well have not experienced many lifetimes. They have not got an awful lot of experience of life itself, of existence. I think those energies are the ones that would find it very difficult to accept what we do. People who tend to be the older souls, people who have had a number of lifetimes throughout different existences, if you like. I don't want to go too deep into that now, but those older souls will be more open to it and more attuned to what you do, so they will accept it. But believe me, there are many who will not, and some people get very angry about it, very wound up about what we do. So yes, you've got to have the skin of a rhino, I guess, sometimes. But everything balances up in the end, because obviously the help you're giving people, the closure you're giving people, outbalances that anyway. So yeah, but just be aware that there will be difficult times and you will face some difficult people, and the best thing is not to get in arguments with them, but just accept that no matter what you do, they will not ever see what you're doing is a good thing. So yes, unfortunately they're there. So water off a duck's back, really. When you get to my age, you learn to take the good and the bad. So don't get upset about it. Don't take it personally. Just, like I said, accept the fact that no matter what you do, they will not see the good in your gift. So, like I said, don't get too upset about it. So that's about it, really. Just a very short video, just explaining some of the downfalls of mediumship, or being a medium, if you like. Just be prepared. So, you know, please be yourself. Work in your way. Okay, do not shadow anyone else. Don't get upset with the people that cannot accept your gift. Don't get upset with that. There are plenty out there now, and as time goes on, there's more and more people loving what we do. So keep at it, keep working away hard at it. Don't spend too much money on your courses. Spend time instead with self, sitting in the power. That's another little hint. And find yourself the circle you are comfortable in. Okay? Any element at all of being uncomfortable in that circle is not going to do you or anyone else any good. So find another. Keep looking until you feel at peace in the right circle. So just a few little bits and pieces there, which I hope will help you along the way. Keep working hard. Keep sitting, because that is where you will learn, believe me. So take care, have a good evening, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.